Good afternoon, teacher. Good afternoon, class. My work team and I will to talk about the emergency topic, Unit 14. Aerial emergencies are not common, but when they do occur, they are crude, violent, and extremely dangerous. Chaos reigns in the air and must be contained by a group of people. A group trained to handle these types of cases. Crew members are in charge of handling emergency problems may arise from first aid, heart attacks, decompression, engine failure, fire during the flight, storm turbulence, decompression, volcanic ash, terrorism, ice and snow, light night bulbs, respiratory problems, heart problems, structural failure of the aircraft, damage of the runway, and storm. Before all these possible emergencies, the crew is properly prepared to give instructions and know how to handle each situation, even in mind of the emergencies that might arise. They have a kit of medications or instruments that help to avoid any problem, such as respirator, pills, etc. Of course, the crew must follow guidelines and orders so that there is no problem. Flight attendants, also known as cabin crew, are in charge of detecting the safety of passengers, reporting and monitoring that established parameters have been determined. They have a triple role in the context for air flights, ensuring the safety, care and well-being of passengers and crew. Therefore, when an air emergency occurs, it is vitally important to follow the safety protocols that the cabin crew are responsible for providing passengers with in order to make the flights as pleasant as possible. Flight attendants are the main responsible for the security inside the aircraft. For this reason, they carry out inspections before, during, and after the air trip. In addition, they are prepared to resolve emergency situations and indicate to passengers the basic rules of safety and addition in the event of an accident or incident. Cabin crew should not be neglected and prior to take-off should be aware of the briefing conducted by the flight commander. The briefing is a brief meeting held by the cabin crew prior to flight to discuss issues related to the day weather, division of duties, applicable procedures for safety, rescue and onboard service, and airline
The
regulations.
vocabulary. The first word in the vocabulary it is a very bad thing. In this case, something very serious that can occur is bad weather with the thunder or the tornadoes. The next word is the decompression. The term decompression refers to unplanned depressurization, which means that drop in oxygen levels in the plane occupied by people. For example, a high-altitude airplane cabin and spacecraft. This can happen when a window is broken. Flotation device. It is an element that helps people stay in the
next
water.
word is the oxygen. It is a substance that most living things need to live. For the person, the animals, and the plants, the oxygen is the very necessary. The other word is the oxygen mask. It is a mask that covers the mouth and nose that connects to an oxygen tank. Used when the body cannot get enjoy oxygen from the breathing air. For example, at the high altitudes or due to the medical condition. The other word is the exit row. An exit row is the row of seats on the airplane that is next to the emergency exits. This row might be next to the wing or near other exit doors. Exit row seats are often some of the most coveted seats on the airplane because of their extra legroom. The other word is the emergency slime. It is the plastic item used to quickly get off the airplane. The next word is the seat cushion. It is a soft bag filling with air or a filling mass, such as feathers or foam rather. The other word is the turbulence. The turbulence refers to the sudden change in airflow characterized with by air moving in the 80s. The final word is the emergency landing. An emergency landing is a priority landing made by an aircraft in response to an emergency that conditions the threats to stay on operation of the aircraft, or involves to sudden need to land or the passengers or the crew on the board, such as a medical emergency.
Safety first. Air travel is one of the safest ways to get around. However, occasionally emergencies occur on board. Knowing what to do in case of an emergency could save your life. Seatbelt during flight. Many things we wonder why we have to wear our seatbelts during the plane's takeoff and landing. The seat cannot recline. Again, this measure is designed to adapt the response time to possible emergency as much as possible. Footing of the oxygen mask. It is one the recommendation that always pointed out on our planets when demonstrating the guide to follow in the event of accident. Turbulence. Turbulence is common in every flight. In case of severe turbulence, stay in your seat and keep your seat belt fastened. An airplane can be said to suffer turbulence when it moves violently due to changes in speed and direction of air currents. When their air particles become disordered, disturbances appear, usually in the form of mills. What causes the turbulence? Turbulence is produced by different meteorological situations. The most common causes are called formations, more precisely vertical demobility, clouds, storms, and drafts in mountain ranges or jet streams. When and where are they most frequent? On night flights or flights in the early morning, it is rare that turbulence occurs since at the time of that the air occurrences are suffered. On the other hand, if we fly during the day, we might feel moving during the journey. In cabin pressure. Aircraft cabins have oxygen. Decompression happens when the oxygen levels in the cabin drop the dangerous levels. When the compression occurs, oxygen max automatically drop from compartments above your seat. Use the strands of the mask to attach the mask to your face and inhale. The activity pumping on compressed air into aircraft cabin to ensure occupant safety and comfort. It is necessary when airplane reach high altitude since the natural atmospheric pressure is too low to supply enough oxygen to the occupants. Without pressurization, you can suffer from mountain snakes or even hypoxia. The pressure surge flight, a lack of oxygen can lead to hypoxia due to reduction of oxygen tension in the alveoli. The pressurizing flight, a lack of oxygen can lead to hypoxia due to reduction of oxygen tension in the alveoli. In some cases, especially people with heart or lung problems, symptoms can start at relatively low altitudes. Emergency landing. On rare occasions, airplanes have to make emergency landings. During an emergency landing over land, listen carefully to the flying crew's instruction. They will direct you to nearest exit route. Then you can leave the plane by going down an emergency slide. For an emergency landing over water, use your set cushion has a flotation device. It is a landing pressure that must be carried out for reasons that occur during the flying and that compromise its safety. Generally, it is performed at the unscheduled aerodrome or terrain, and some things normal intake procedures are not followed. There are a myriad of causes that can lead to an emergency landing, and there can be countless types, both on the prepared runways and unprepared terrains.
Engineer Alex Calderon Salas Team EP Procedures and Emergencies instructor explains that teaching are procedures performed by the crew in aircraft emergency to prepare the cabin for a landing and impeding evacuation at the moment the plane lands on the water. Teaching procedures are applied when, due to different emergency circumstances, the aircraft must make a landing in water without having enough time to make a normal landing at an airport. Thus, aeronautical operators must have their own emergency teaching procedures so that in an eventual emergency situation they can apply them. Both cabin and passengers crews receive procedures for this within their recurrent training. It is important that passengers are always attentive to the safety instructions from the crew, to the use of life jackets, and to the closed departures.
In 1989, United Airlines Flight 232 sustained a complete hydraulics failure. A plane's hydraulic system is essentially the lifeblood of an aircraft, and without hydraulics you can't steer or even change altitude. But despite this, the pilots miraculously managed to crash land the plane at an airport in Iowa. 184 passengers survived the crash landing. Sadly, 112 people died. Despite the loss of life, the pilot's actions have been hailed as an impossible feat of flying. An emergency landing was previously thought to be impossible with no hydraulics. We had to have US Airways Flight 1549. Dubbed the Miracle on the Hudson, Captain Sullenberger successfully landed the plane in the Hudson River following a bird strike. All 155 passengers survived the water landing, making this the first water landing of an airliner with 0 fatalities.
This is Cactus 1539. Hit birds, so you've lost thrust on both engines, returning back towards LaGuardia.
Which engines? He lost thrust in both engines, he said.
Cactus 1549, 700, landing 5,000.
We can get it for you. Do you want to try to land 1913?
We're unable. We may end up in the Hudson.
Cactus 1529, turn right 280, you can land runway 1 at Teterboro.
We can't do it.
Okay, which runway would you like at Teterboro?
We're going to be in the